继续授课佛学英文这一堂课。Welcome to come back to the class of Basic Buddhist English. Today we will read a few sentences to understand how to be a free and a happy person. Let's read these few sentences first, and then we will analyze. Repeat after me. Detach does not mean dead. Rather, it is made of loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. One of the highest blessings is a friend with whom we can respond openly and freely. It is hard to be constantly loving, but it is harder to be unloving. Detach does not mean dead. Rather, it is made of loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. One of the highest blessings is a friend with whom we can respond openly and freely. It is hard to be constantly loving, but it is harder to be unloving. In our last class, we read that ego is but a worrisome product of unmindful, wandering thoughts. When powerful awareness is cultivated, we gladly learn that there is no one who thinks, only thinking. No one who walks, only walking. No one who sees, only seeing. And finally, the great burden is dissolved. In last class, the text teaches us how to be a free person, how to dissolve the great burden. What is the great burden? What is the heavy burden? It is the burden of the sense of an ego. Once we have the sense of ego, then we attach to it. We try to protect our ego. We try to keep our ego safe. We try to protect our ego unhurted, unharmed by other factors. Therefore, we are in a constant state of anxiety, in a constant state of pressure, in a constant state of uneasiness. This great burden will press us from moment to moment. From the moment we are born until the moment we die, we cannot be free from the heavy burden. And we people try our best effort to dissolve this great burden. We try to dissolve this heavy burden in many ways. Maybe we will go outside and make a tour, or to do sightseeing, or to do exercise, or try to buy something in order to satisfy our desire. Or we may try to have something to make us proud of what we have owned in order to show off. And maybe we ask the love from outside, from other people, or even from the Creator. In the world, the most often used way is to ask something from outside but our mind. And there is no way to dissolve the great burden by means of external influence, by external object. There is no way to dissolve our great burden. There is no way to solve our problem except our inner mind. Only when our mind is enlightened, when our mind is developed, fully developed, that means when our mind is fully aware, widely aware, that we can analyze the contents, the qualities of our mind, the qualities of our life, the quality of our world. Then we can let go, we can release, we can dissolve this great burden of the sense of ego in order to be free and independent. When our mind is enlightened, when the great burden is dissolved, that means we never attach to any objects at all. That means that we detach from the external objects or anything else. Detach. Detach is the opposite of attach. Attached to means 执着 detach 要用 from 离开执着，也就是不执着的意思。If we attach to something, then we become the slave of something. We will feel suffering. If we can detach from something, then we will no more the slave of something. And we will no more fear the burden, the suffering from something. The pressure is free. The pressure is clear. The pressure is dissolved just because of our powerful awareness. The powerful awareness will make us understand clearly and mindfully. This is the detachment. Detachment is the opposite of attachment. Detachment 不执着，是 attachment 就是那个执着的 opposite 的反面。Detachment is the opposite of attachment. And detachment can make us free from the influence, the effect of other things. 不执着可以让我们呢，从某一件事情里面得到解脱自由。However, many people are afraid of detachment. Many people are skeptical of detachment. Many people do not understand the truth of detachment, do not understand the quality or the good effect or the benefit of detachment. They are afraid that they will lose something, that they will get rid of something, and they will have nothing at all. They will lose their ego. they will lose their reliance of life. They will lose their sense of security. They will lose their sense of dependence. Because people always try to find something to rely on. Because people don't have the sense of security. They have to depend on someone or something or some event. That is very miserable. It is just because the people don't understand the meaning of detachment. Therefore, they want to grasp, they want to attach much more than before, just to make their sense of ego stronger and stronger, more powerful and more powerful than before. That is the damage, disadvantage of the sense of ego. In Buddhist teaching, the sense of ego is the main origin or the main cause of suffering. Once we have attachment, we will have suffering. The only way to be free from suffering is to get rid of attachment. That means only when we have detachment, then we may end suffering. Detachment is just the cause or the origin of freedom, of peace, of happiness. For example, if we attach to a beautiful landscape, of course we will feel very happy, very peaceful when we see this beautiful landscape. But when we are away from this beautiful landscape, we will feel uneasy. We will feel unhappy. It is just because we attach it. We attach to it too much. We are afraid of being away from this beautiful landscape. And this landscape becomes one of our nightmare, becomes one of our addictions, becomes one of our drugs. We attach to it, and we cannot leave it just only one moment. We cannot frown away from it. That is a pity, that our human life becomes the slave, becomes the addiction to anything, to anybody, or to any form, to any sound, or to any thoughts, to any ideology. We are not ourselves at all. Buddhist teachings want us to be free from the influence of any other factors. We must practice Bodhidharma. We must practice meditation. We must practice detachment. When powerful awareness is developed, we gradually learn that there is no one who walks but walking. There is no one who sees but seeing. There is no one who hears but hearing. There is no one who thinks but thinking. And then we may dissolve the great burden. And then we finally arrive at the destination of detachment. We must understand clearly, what does detachment mean? Detachment does not mean dead. It is the mistake of many people. Many people always think that detachment is just like a dead person. It's just like a dead water. Because we detach from anything, and we have nothing at all which we can control, then detachment is not a blessing to us. It is not a good thing for us to pursue. However, in reality, detachment does not mean dead. Detachment only means freedom from suffering. Detachment is only a state of freedom, a state of peace, that we are free from the influence of other people, other things, other circumstances, other conditions. Rather, detachment is very active. Because detachment is not dead. Detachment is just free from the influence of other factors. If we are free from the influence of other factors, then we can act freely. Then we can speak freely. Then we can think freely. Then we can be very active in every action, in every speech, in every thought we make. Detach does not mean dead. Rather, it is lively. It is active. It is not a dead person. It is not a dead situation. It is not a dead state. But detachment is a happy state, a powerful state, because we are free from the effect. We are free from the influence of other things. Nothing else will influence us. Nothing else will make us unhappy, will make us slave to it. Rather, detachment is made of rather means on the other hand, rather, 的意思是反而。I am not wise as you think. Rather, I am very stupid. 我并不像你们所认为的那么聪明。Rather, 反而呢 I am stupid. 我是有点愚笨的。I'm not so wise as you think. I'm not so wise as you believe. I'm not so good as you think. Rather, I'm just an ordinary person. I'm not a great man. Rather, a very simple person, a very ordinary person. I'm nothing but a learner, a student of the Buddhist teacher. Rather means on the other hand. It is not the apparent way one may think, one may see. But there is the opposite. There is the opposite of state. Detachment is not death. Rather, it is made of. Made of means composed of. Made of 的组成的意思。It denotes the content of something. For example, a book is made of papers, inks, words, covers. For example, a nation is made of people, government, land, and sovereignty. For example, a person is made of hair, eyes, ears, nose, mouth, tongues, body, hands, feet, stomach, and so many other things. Made of, composed of. Detached is made of course, many other factors. But here we just mention 4 main factors. Those 4 main factors are love and kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. These 4 are also called 4 immeasurables or 4 infinite, 4无量心. The 4 immeasurables or the 4 infinites. When we practice Buddha Dharma, we must develop immeasurable or infinite or boundless love and kindness. Love and kindness, 慈, compassion, 悲, sympathetic joy, 喜, equanimity, 舍, 慈悲, 喜舍, 4无量心, 4 measurables, or we may say 4 infinites. 4 infinites means infinite loving kindness, infinite compassion, infinite sympathetic joy, and infinite equanimity. There is no limit at all. It is boundless. It is so immeasurable that we cannot measure. What is love and kindness? What is compassion? What is sympathetic joy? What is equanimity? Love and kindness, kindness, 仁慈 ，love it， 加上一个有爱心的仁慈。In Buddhist term, love and kindness is 慈。It means to give happiness, to give advantage, to give good things to other people or to other living beings. That is love and kindness. To give happiness, to give advantage, to give benefit to other people. That is love and kindness. And then we have compassion. Compassion is to take suffering away from somebody. 拔苦谓之悲 To take away suffering from other people means to make other people not fear suffering anymore. To make other people be peaceful and be happy. That is compassion. Love and kindness is composed of two words, loving and kindness. And of course, we may analyze the word compassion. The root of compassion is patient. Compassion 的字根呢，就是 patient. Patient means 热情 a feeling, a strong feeling. A patient for reading, 热衷于读书. A patient for making money, 热衷于赚钱. A patient for practice, 热心修行. A patient for cultivation, 也可以讲修行. A patient for meditation, 很喜好这个禅修. Calm means together. Compassion means the feeling of oneness, the feeling of togetherness. 有那种一体感，有这个物我一种，没有你我差别的感觉，谓之 compassion. Passion 是一种强烈的感情，一种热烈的欲望，一种热望。Compassion 是合而为一 ，calm 只有两者合而为一。Compassion means the oneness of ourselves and other people. If we show compassion to other people, we mean that we feel we are equal to other people. We are the same. We are as one as other people. There is no difference at all between us and other people. There is no one who is higher or one who is lower. That is compassion. Compassion is paid to get rid of the sufferings for other people. Actually, that detachment means loving kindness, compassion. And then the third factor is sympathetic joy. Joy 是一种喜悦 a sense of good luck, a sense of pleasure, that is joy. Joyful, 满腔的喜悦，满腔的高兴 that is joyful. Joy, Dharma joy, 法喜 full of Dharma joy, 充满法喜。Enjoy 这种欣赏 appreciate 欣赏 enjoy. For example, I enjoy food, I enjoy chanting, I enjoy mantra, I enjoy reading, I enjoy meditation, because those things will make us peaceful, will make us concentrated, will make us mindful. That is a kind of joy. The Buddhist joy is not the same as the joy of ordinary people, because the joy of ordinary people comes from the taking of something, comes from outside. And it is because outside or external circumstance is changing all the time. Then this kind of joy will change all the time. It is only the joy from our inner mind which can last forever. Because we can take good care of our mind. We can train our mind. We can hold our mind, experience our mind. We can understand the truth of our mind. This is the true joy, the true blessing, the true happiness, true peace. Only the joy from inner mind can last forever. Because when we develop wisdom, when we develop emptiness or shunyata, we will no more attach to anything. Then our mind is totally free. Our mind is totally open. This Dhamma joy is the ultimate joy that we people can pursue in this world. Sympathetic joy, sympathetic 就是一种同情的 sympathy 名词。Do you have sympathy with him? 你同情他、怜悯他吗？形容词 sympathetic 同情的，动词呢 sympathize 啊 sympathize 啊，一种同情。Do you sympathize with him? 你同情他吗？ Sympathy, sympathetic, sympathize. Sympathetic joy, sim, also means together, or the sense of oneness. Sim, S-Y-M, S-Y-N 都是有同体一如的意思。Sympathetic joy, this kind of joy comes from the understanding that we are the same, that we are only parts of one totality. Therefore, we have the sympathy to other people. Sympathetic joy, that means the joy of truth, the joy of understanding that we are one, that we are only parts of a wholeness. And equanimity. Equanimity means equality, the mental state of equality, the mental state of evenness, the mental state of non-difference at all. Equanimity means the mental state which is even, which is peaceful, which is detached from everything, which is mindful. Up to now we understand the quality of detachment. Detachment is not a kind of death. Rather, it is made of love and kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. If it is the case, then we will love detachment. We will no more be afraid of detachment. And we will practice detachment in our daily life in order to be an independent person. What is the blessing in our daily life? Is the blessing the food, the beautiful clothes, or the beautiful house, luxurious car, or the external properties? No, not at all. The blessing must be connected with our innermost mind. One of the highest blessings, the highest blessings means the best blessing we may have. Of course, we can have many blessings. We can have the blessing of good house, beautiful clothes, beautiful car, handsome car, or handsome boyfriend, beautiful girlfriend. But one of the highest one, or one of the best blessings is a friend with whom we can respond openly and freely. Although we have many friends in the world, we may feel lonely. 相知满天下，知己有几人。Maybe we have many friends in the world, but we don't have a close friends. A close friends means that we can get close to each other and we will feel no pressure from the other. One of the highest blessings is a friend. Is a friend with whom we can respond openly and freely. A friend is good to us because we can help each other, because we can console each other when we feel suffering, because we can give advice to each other, because we can encourage each other. If we have a good friend, then our life will become rich. On the other hand, if we have a bad friend, then the quality of our life will become very poor. As it is said by the Chinese Confucius, that a good friend means a friend of rich knowledge, a friend of wisdom, a friend of love, a friend of good advice to each other. Make good choice when you want to befriend somebody. Be careful when you want to make friends with other people. A friend may help us, and yet a friend may harm us. It depends on the quality of a friend or the character of a friend. One of the highest blessings is a friend with whom. With whom means with that friend or with that person with whom we can respond openly and freely. Respond 这是这个反应。 we are always dominated by other people, by other things, by external world, then we respond. Once we have the stimulus from outside, then we respond. 我们一有刺激就有这个反应 ，respond 反应 ，correspond co 互相的意思 ，correspond 就是通信、沟通 ，communication。Can you respond to a friend freely and openly? 你能够对一个朋友很自由的、很开放的反应吗？ In most cases, we understand that we cannot, because maybe there is some conflict between us. Maybe we are honest to other people, but other people may not be honest to us. Maybe we respond with a good heart, but other people will misunderstand. It is rather hard to respond openly and freely to other people, to our friend. The best friend has no distance from us. The best friend is just within us. It's just always with us in our whole life. We are good friends to each other. We can respond openly and freely. Openly and freely means we can respond with an open mind and a free mind. An open mind means a mind has no limit at all. A mind is not closed at all. A mind is wide open. A mind is acceptable. A mind is free to go to other people, opening and freely. Do you have a friend that you can respond freely and openly? Do you have a friend who is so close that you can talk anything with him? That he will keep secret for you? That he will not make use of you? That he will not take advantage of you? Do you have such a good friend, such a close friend? If yes, I must congratulate that you are so fortunate that you have the highest blessings. If not, then I must advise you to cultivate, to practice Buddha Dharma in order to have an enlightenment, and that you can respond clearly. You can respond openly and freely. This is the quality of a good friend. There is no secret at all between these two people. There is nothing that we hide in order not to let other people understand. Everything is so open and so free to exchange with a good friend. If we have such a good friend, then we are lucky enough, because we can share our experience, we can share our feeling, we can share our wisdom, we can share our love, our compassion. We may be happy together, we may suffer together. We are in the same boat. We are crossing the river by the same boat. That is important to have a good friend, a close friend, that we can respond openly and freely. This is a great blessing to have a good friend. The Chinese sage Confucius always remind us to make good choice in making friends with other people. Just be very careful. Don't make friend with a bad person, but make a friend with good person, virtuous person, that we can help each other, that we can live together and grow up together. That is one of the greatest or highest blessings. To have a friend who is so nice to you that you can respond openly and freely. No hidden secret. Nothing that we have to hide from each other. This is one of the great blessings. It is hard constantly laughing. It is harder to be unlaughing. It is hard means it is difficult. It is difficult. It is hard, it is difficult. It is not so easy. It is not so easy to be hard. To be constantly laughing. Constantly means steady, means permanently, means for a long duration. It is hard to be constantly laughing. 想要永远保持 laughing 可爱、慈悲、爱心。It is not so easy to be constantly laughing. We can have laugh for a very short period. We can have love to our relatives. But when the conditions change, maybe our love compassion will be weakened. Therefore, it is rather hard to be constantly laughing. Actually, not so easy to remain laughing permanently, to remain compassionate all the time, because the conditions are changing from moment to moment, that we cannot make a stable mind. We cannot preserve our mind in a pure way. We cannot keep our mind peaceful and even mindful. It is not so easy to be constantly laughing. To be constantly laughing means that we show love to other people, to everything, whenever or wherever we are. We don't show our love, compassion to our relatives, our family members, to those friends who are close to us. Rather, we show our love and compassion to everyone and every living beings in the whole world. That we can be a respectable person, a loving person. Because it is the practice of one of the four immeasurables. One of the four immeasurables is compassion. And this compassion must be constant, apparent, must be constantly manifestive. This loving, this compassion is always there. We talk with each other and we show our love. However, it is only a good person or an enlightened person who has the wisdom to understand that actually we are the same as other people. Our wisdom is developed. Therefore, we understand the truth of oneness, of unity. It is not easy to be constantly loving. However, it is even harder to be unloving. If we have constant love, then we can show our love all the time to all the people and all the different beings. It is not easy. However, on the other hand, it is even harder to be unloving. Even harder means even more difficult. It is not so easy as to have loving all the time. It is even harder to be unloving. Why? Why it is even more difficult to be unloving? Because unloving means hatred, resentment. If we have unloving, then we have hatred towards some other people. Our mind is not peaceful, it's not mindful. Unloving will make us feel unhappy. It is not other people who are forced harm, but it is ourselves who has no loving, will be harmed, will be hurt at the very beginning. Once we have hatred, once we have resentment, once we are not free, we are not open, then we feel unhappy in our inner mind. It is not so easy, you see. It is even harder to be unloving. Because to be unloving means to have the hatred all the time, to have enemy around ourselves, to feel unhappy. How can we keep constant unloving when our mind is harmed, is hurt, when our mind is not in a steady way, is not equanimous? It would be so terrible, so miserable to have unloving. Therefore, it is said, it is hard to be constantly loving, but it is even harder to have unloving. Thank you for joining us. Thank you.
法界客厅大道场为满足信众的需求，以先进的科技，用影音度众，让学佛的心不必在尘世中追寻。您的发心护持，让本台节目顺利制作，并使你早证菩提，离苦得乐，功德圆满。划拨账号419-56780，户名法界弘法通讯社。